Don't do it, dude. Don't do it, boys. If you saw where this IR laser was pointed, you'd rethink all of this.
If you would like to make a call, please hang up.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nigel, Dials 46. Something I get a lot of questions about is my SIONYX NVG device setup with my helmet, and how I use it with IR laser, replica pec box with my airsoft guns. And so I thought I'd put a quick video together. I used this setup at a night game not too long ago in my local field here. It's hot, it's summertime in Arkansas, and it's really gross during the day. So if your local field is having heat problems during the day, definitely recommend night games. It's a lot of fun, way to beat the heat, get out there and enjoy some airsoft in the summertime during these brutal temperatures we're having this year, for sure. So the shell, my helmet is going to be Ops Core carbon, high cut knockoff. It's a FMA. The thing I like about FMAs is that they are one of the only airsoft replica manufacturers that gives you a choice between a medium and a large. You guys might already know I got a big noggin, so I like the large size of it. This particular replica has all these holes in it, which is really nice to vent out and breathe, let your head breathe a little bit. On the back, I just have a homemade old school pouch there. It's got Velcro on it, and it's gonna be my counterweight pouch. In my case, I used fishing weights, lead fishing weights. You know, you get a multi-pack from Walmart, and you just kind of keep on filling up that pouch until it's about the same weight as your device on the front, your night vision device or whatever you're hanging off the front. And then I electrical taped all the weights together in kind of a square that I could fit in this pouch. So on top, I've got the MS-2000. This is really good for if you got any buddies out there or teammates that are using night vision as well. You can either keep that IR shield on or off. With the IR shield on, only people with night vision devices are going to be able to see it, but it works as a great distress marker too, if you just need to mark a position or let people know where you're at. Onto the front, you're going to see the Lions Gear mount there. Now, before I go too much further, big shout out to my buddies over at Amped Airsoft, ampedairsoft.com. Make sure you check them out. They have the whole lineup of SIONYX, all the different models, and then they have all this Lions Gear product that's going to be giving you the ability to mount it to your NVG shroud on your helmet. So big shout out to Amped Airsoft. Thanks a lot for pointing me in the right direction, guys. I appreciate that. Sorry the video's late. 2 years late, but it's only been 2 years. It's fine. So okay, yeah, so Lions Gear is the name. Really nice. I think it's probably overbuilt. This is all like CNC aluminum. There's no worry about any issues with the integrity or the construction or quality of the mount. It is mounted to a Wilcox style arm, so it's going to be a Wilcox style arm. This is a replica I got off Amazon, I think, for like 50-60 bucks. It's a nice one. I think there's a couple different brands on it, but just look for the nicer ones. It's going to be CNC'd aluminum too. It's got all the adjustabilities and refinements that you want to see in a Wilcox style mount, so that's good. You know, the up, down, the angles, it's all there. And it attaches really nicely to the helmet too. I do have some zip ties on it just to be safe, and as well as those zip ties, you're going to want to have a dummy retention cord for your device in case it does come off the mount, in case, you know, the Wilcox to the Lions Gear mount fell somewhere or whatever, or the unit just comes off the mount altogether. You want that that dummy cord to catch your nice little digital night vision. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the ins and outs and, you know, all the settings and things like that for the SIONYX. There's a lot of great videos out there that cover all that stuff. My biggest thing is 2 clicks in on the zoom, right? After you have it focused, just 2 clicks in zoom, and that'll give you a 1-to-1 scale with your naked eye. So you're gonna be able to see, if you open up both eyes, everything's to scale. If you don't do the 2-click zoom in, it's a little bit out of depth on its default configuration. So 2 zooms, click, 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 boom, you're at 1-to-1 scale. You can kind of hold your hand out and see that it's the same size in your naked eye and in the device. So that is the biggest tip that I want to let you know. Also, the more bigger tip is don't go over a 0.32 gigabyte micro SD card. You might think that, hey, I'll use a 64 or 128, whatever gigabyte, but it won't. For some reason, all these SIONYX units, they won't accept over a 32 gigabyte. So just pack as many 32s as you can. Don't try to go over it. It'll ruin your whole weekend if you're trying to film some awesome milsim action. It was a pain in the butt. It was a real bummer. Now, you can use the unit without an SD card in it, but you can't film. And that's the coolest part about the SIONYX. In my opinion, the coolest part is filming. And this is Airsoft or for doing milsims and things like that. It's awesome. It's a great little device for the price. It's a lot of fun. It gives you true night vision in digital form. Yeah, it's for the money. It's spot on as far as what I expect for quality and utility, you know, actual use. So I wouldn't recommend it much outside of Airsoft unless you're just wanting to do like some range filming your friends, but not actually using it. It is weapons rated, so you can actually mount it to a real firearm. And using it in a stationary type setting, as a stationary tool, it would make more sense to me in a real world situation. But for Airsoft, we can go ahead and mount this thing to an NVG mount like we got set up. It looks cool too, man. So yeah, there you go. Also, it comes with a really cool box. I really like the box it came with. Inside my box, it does come with 2 extra batteries, which is nice. And I got some IFF patches in there. And then you know, a little charger cord if I gotta charge it up on the fly with a battery bank that I can also slap on my helmet somewhere, so that's nice. The other cool thing about SIONYX, and I'll move on to the gun here, I'll move on to the MP5 next, is like white light. If you take a big beam of white light like right to your eye that's using the device, that's using the SIONYX, it's not as annoying, or you know, it doesn't like diminish your eyesight as bad as it would with real analog NVGs. So that's kind of nice, and it actually, if you do have some ambient white light out there, it's going to help your filming picture, which is nice. Seeing some of these clips, some of it's pretty crisp, and that's because people around me either have little helmet lights on, you know, little surefire lights or things like that, or they're using some weapon lights or things like that, and that actually adds to the quality of what you're going to be able to receive through the lens on your device. So a little bit of ambient light goes a long ways for sure. You can see when it starts to get more zero light, where there's no ambient light type thing, you might have some stars and moon. That's when you're going to start seeing some of those digital pixels and, like, you know, the purples and greens, the little boxy pixel things. It doesn't translate as well because it still looks clear in your tube. Obviously, it's a much smaller picture. Now, when I'm blowing this picture up to 1080 or 720 or whatever resolution you're watching, now we're really seeing those pixels. But as far as using it as a nod at NVG, the pixels aren't as bad. Obviously, they're a lot smaller in your viewfinder.
The blue light, man.
There you go. Okay, on to my MP5. This is the licensed H&K MP5 SD Elite AEG. This is from Elite Force. Now, my local field has, and a lot of these fields out here are adopting it, and a lot of milsims and event hosts are adopting this rule, having an SMG rule with like a 0 or a very low minimum engagement distance, MED. And my field is no exception, which I think is really cool. So if you have a dedicated SMG replica, boom, got it. MP5 is a perfect candidate for it. But you got to be 350 feet per second or lower. You know, a lot of these fields want a lower FPS, but it allows you to have a no or very limited minimum engagement distance, and you can keep your full auto ability, where most riflemen, when you're hitting that 400 feet per second, most fields only want you in that semi-auto, which can limit you a little bit. So the ability to have full auto at night is awesome. So I went ahead and did that. This thing's got a really easy quick change spring system in it. You push the pin out on the rear sliding stock. I did keep the sliding stock on this one just to keep things compact, keep the handling and agility up in case, you know, you're tripping over stuff in the dark, fiddling over stuff in the dark. So yeah, so this is my MP5 I set up especially for night play. So as you see up here, I got a 3D printed B&T style Picatinny adapter, a rail accessory adapter. Is B&T style, so the real one's going to be CNC'd aluminum, but I had this one 3D printed. I found the file, and a local buddy of mine printed it for me. Does the trick, secures on there real nice, and keeps everything where you need it to be. My PEC box is going to be Element brand I found on eVic. It has white light, visible laser, red laser, and IR on it. It's actually a pretty bright little duo there, man. I like this particular replica PEC 15 unit because when it is on or activated, if you use the pressure switch or the manual on-body switch here, it gives you a little indicator right there, which I really enjoy. That helps me save a lot of batteries, and this takes the CR123 battery, so it's sucking juice. So having that indicator there, bam, and it does it for everything too. So even if it's IR and you can't see it, your IR, you can still see that green when you can't see anything coming out of it. Oh, you can see a little IR. There you go. Look at that. Huh. Yeah. That's funny. There you go. You see a little bit of that IR laser right there. Kind of pick it up. So really cool unit for the price, and it's got real IR laser capabilities, which is nice. Got your laser, red laser, laser light combo, bright as heck. Light by itself. Light by itself, which is really bright too. So that's very nice. Enjoy that a lot. Again, that indicator is really cool to have on there too. So that's the off position. So that's going to be the off position, but it's got a lot of different awesome features, usable features, which is nice, which I like. So you just keep the flashlight covered up, and then keep the cover off the laser, so you can get that laser through there. And it's adjustable too, for left, right, up, down. I put this is a LAYLAX brand mag release extender, and this is really nice. So if I'm fiddling around in the dark, or I can't find that normal, that normal mag release, which is just like the paddle release, having the ability for that ambidextrous on either side is really nice. So it's a big, fat, chunky mag release that helped out for the mobility and the handling of this thing for nighttime operations, for nighttime use too. So keeping the sliding stock, adding the big chunky mag release right there. Yeah, so there you go, guys. If you're looking to get into like a night vision type setup, definitely go check them out, ampedairsoft.com. Again, they have the whole setup out there. I know there's a lot of different options out there right now. The SIONYX stuff is getting a lot more affordable and a lot more popular out there. I'm seeing a lot more of it. But this is my setup. This is kind of how I do it. It's a lot of fun for sure. Being able to see in the night is a lot of fun. Again, being stationary, posting up in a position and having a night vision device like this is awesome. When you're doing some field work and things, you still want to watch your path and things like that. Watch where you're stepping. I've never experienced any time delay. I know a lot of people that have tried to use these for real firearms, whether it be weapon mounted or helmet mounted like I have it. A lot of them talk about like a time delay. Like if you're whipping your head around. But I've never experienced that in Airsoft. That could change depending on how fast you're going, how many miles per hour you're going on the range, I guess. But I've never seen it in all of my use with Airsoft. I've fielded this setup with my helmet here and the pack box probably 6 or 7 times at this point. And it's been pretty successful every time. So, yeah, you're going to have some varying issues depending on ambient light, how high up the moon is. You want the moon to get up over the trees. That's the other big thing. If the moon's not yet up over the trees, you got to give it a few minutes. Let that moon get high in the sky, and it'll light up everything for you. So, yeah, that's how I do it. I appreciate it, guys. Let me know what you think. If you're running SIONYX, or if you got any questions, definitely put them down there in the comments. Please leave a like. Make sure you subscribe. It helps me out. Leaving those likes helps me out. I really appreciate it, guys. And yeah, there you go. See you guys out there on the field. Later.
Beep.